Hey, good afternoon, YouTube. This 300 pounder coming at you with Magic the Gathering EDH Commander deck for Reaper King. So this deck is relatively budget, minus a few cards. This deck that I'm going to be showing you was like $74, $75 for everything to include the lands. But I can tell you which cards you can do without and how much they were, so it can drop you below that hopefully $50 mark if I remember them all. But let's go ahead and get started. So the whole point of this deck is to abuse Reaper King. Reaper King is obvious. When another Scarecrow enters the play, destroy target permanent. So permanent is anything that's on the field, so lands. Basically, you want to destroy everybody's lands and then be hated for the rest of your life. And then your Scarecrows get that +1/+1 stuff. So first we're going to start off with the lands. Only playing one of each of the swamp and forest. 2 of the plains, 4 mountains, and 19 islands. The only reason we are running 19 islands is because there are the sorceries and spells and enchantments or whatever, and you'll see that here in a little bit. And they're mostly water. The only reason we're playing like 1 swamp, 1 forest, and then 2 plains and a low amount of mountains, just because this deck does search out basic lands, so we don't need to play that many. Unfortunately, if one of those do get destroyed, then you just have to do 2 costs for Reaper King. Next, some not basic lands, so Terminal Moraine. Terminal Moraine was like $4, so you could do without it. The Panorama, they were each like $3 a piece. Yeah, so those are the non-basic lands. So basically, it's all just tap, pay, and then search out basic land with all the panoramas. So there's 4. Moraine is the same thing. And then Terramorphic Expanse is just tap, search for basic. And Warp Landscape and Evolving Wilds. So Warp Landscape is the same as Panoramas. Evolving Wilds was, I think it was like $4. But it's just tap it and then search, and you just keep searching with it. Yeah, because you don't sacrifice it. Next, we're going to go into the regular artifacts. So we're going to play Blade of Selves and Helm of the Host. Basically, you just copy. Let's see. All right. Yeah, so Blade of Selves and Helm of the Host, they do make copy of Reaper King. Because Reaper King is a legendary creature, the token, like you create the token, get the original Reaper King's effect, and then the token gets destroyed. But it's just 1 for 1 there. So attack with Blade of Selves, and then get another Reaper King, and then destroy something. And then Helm of the Host is same thing, almost, if you don't attack. So you just copy the Reaper King there. Each of those, Blade of Selves was 5, you can do without it. And Helm of the Host was 3, you can also do without it. Next, we play 10 of the signets here, not in order. Yeah, so the 10 signets, basically just tap 1, tap it, and then get 2 in place. So yeah, it's just a 1 for 2. So the 10 signets. Next, Wayfarer's Bauble. Just sacrifice it and then search for a land. And you can kind of get the picture that most of this stuff is search and add. So next, we got Blinkmoth Urn, Everflowing Chalice, Pillars of Origins, Mimic Vat, Mirrorworks, and Minion Reflector. I'm not going to go into too much detail about those because I never draw into them because I do too much surfing and the deck just shuffles a lot. Next, Flame Shadow Conjuring, non-creature token enter the battlefield, pay a fire, make a copy of it, and then exile it during the end. So you make a copy of a Scarecrow, get effect of the Reaper King, and then destroy something. Next, this card was $5, but it's basically the 4 to bring it out, and then the 5 kicker, and then you get 5 copies of a card that's on the battlefield. So you just get 5 copies of Reaper King. So this Reaper King gets to destroy 1 for each copy you make, so 5, and then the tokens get to destroy 4 because they can't count themselves, and then the 4 that come out for the 5. So it's 25 things you can destroy, and then just ruin your opponent's life. Next, quasi-duplicate, copy of a card or a creature you control. Next, exile and then return. So basically, you just exile those and then return to the field and then get Reaper King's effect. Next, Frantic Search, just draw 2, discard 2, and then untap 3. So it's basically pay it for free because it's cost 3. Next, Search for Knowledge, draw 3 cards, discard 2, and unless you discard an artifact, you discard 1 artifact. Come on, Mo. Next, Unwind, counter target non-creature spell, untap 3 lands. So basically you play it for free. Ghostly Flicker, basically this is just a blink, so you blink 2 Scarecrows and then effect a Reaper King to destroy 2 more things. The counter, Arcane Denial. That one was like $3 or so, so you don't really need that. This is just for draw. Cackling Counterpart, token on the battlefield, the card. So you basically just target Reaper King again, and then you can do 7 to basically bring it back from the graveyard, and then exile it when it comes back. All right, so this card is like $5, but in normal Commander, this card is banned. Deadeye Navigator. Basically, exile the creature, then return to the battlefield. So you just, as long as you have the mana, so 1 colorless, 1 blue, you just keep bringing it back and you just keep floating it. So yeah, that card is banned. So it's basically a homebrew if the people you play with don't mind you playing it. Next, we got 3 of the Shapeshifters. Shapeshifters count as any card all the time, so they count as Scarecrows. And then, yeah. This one, I believe, is the best one because every time your opponent casts a spell, you can put a 1/1 counter on it. So you can go up from there. So yeah, the Changelings count as every creature all the time. Next, we got Joyra and Padim. Basically, hexproof Padim, and then Historic Spell, draw a card. Next, we just got a couple other guys. That's basically whenever an artifact enters the battlefield, you can discard then draw, and then this is draw then discard, same thing. Artifacts. Next, we're going to go into artifact creatures. So 3 non-artifact or non-scarecrow artifacts. So historic spells, artifacts, legendary, sagas cost 1 less, and same thing with Foundry Inspector and Ethereum Sculptor. Except so this one is legendary, so it can work with this guy. If you do have to go with the colorless or whatever, if it gets destroyed and it gets at 2 more, use just -1. And then you can make copies of these or whatever, and then just play stuff for free. So those guys. Next, we're just going to go into the Scarecrows. Some of these are mediocre, but there's not really many Scarecrows to choose from, so I'm just going to go through them. Scuttlemutt, Heapdaw, Thornwatch Scarecrow, Wicker Walker, or Warcrawler, Blazestorm Scarecrow, Tatterkite, Scrap Basket, let's see, Wildfield Scarecrow, Fang Skulkin, Rattleblaze, Wicker Witch, Wing Rattle, Jawbone Skulkin, One-Eyed Scarecrow. Did I already have him? No, I had Wildfield. Okay. Lurebound, Harvest Hand. So Harvest Hand actually has two sides. Let's pop him out of the sleeve. So basically, if he dies, you can bring him back as a artifact equipment, and then it's just 1/1, and the creature, if it's a human, it has menace. So that means your opponent would have to block it with 2 creatures instead of 1. Hoof Skulkin, Shell Skulkin, Field Creeper, definitely creeping around, Chainbreaker, Watch Ring Scarecrow, Antler Skulkin, and so this card is going to be hard to find just because it's super old, but Pity-Pala. So there is one Scarecrow that nobody had that I wanted to play in this. It was called Lockjaw Snapper, just because I like the name, but you don't need him. So that is the deck list. You do a lot of searching. This is strictly for fun deck. I don't win a lot with it, and it's hard to do the destroy 25 things with this and Rod of Replication. But yeah, so this deck cost about $74, and those cards that I told you, the specific prices, if you cut those out, you can definitely probably get this under the $50 range and just play budget. So if you're looking just to play with people, and not really looking to win, just getting into the community, $50 and you can create your own deck instead of buying a Commander pre-built deck, which the 2018s aren't good anyway, and I have a feeling that the 2019s aren't going to be that good anyway. But anyway, hopefully you guys will take heed of this deck list, and if you want to play Scarecrows, go ahead and try to get off the Destroy 25 with Reaper King and go from there. So yeah, I'll be doing another deck list of a little bit more expensive deck here in the future, but we will catch you all next time.